there's so much to consume us now that like I feel for a film, I really have to want to sit there the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's why TV to me wins out because we're getting spectacular performances.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like where it was 20 years ago where TV was the second rate B actors. It's like
Right.
no, these are A plus
Mm-hmm.
actors.
Hey, Ivory Tower Boiler Room listeners and true crime friends. You've heard me gush over this incredible woman and her beautiful products. I'm talking about Mandy Made It. Mandy makes customized and original crochet and pre-cut goods. They are the perfect, unique, one-of-a-kind gift for literally anyone in your life. And she makes incredible home decor. I still have my pumpkins that I put out every fall. I just love them. Check her out on Instagram at MANDEE Made It or search Mandy Made It on Facebook. To order, just slide into her DMs, and if you mention the Ivory Tower Boiler Room, you will receive a free personalized gift with your first order. So, go on Instagram and look up at Mandy Made It, and Mandy is spelled MANDEE. Again, her handle is at Mandy Made It, Mandy spelled MANDEE, and order today.
This episode is brought to you by Snapple. Welcome to the Snapple Market Auditory Experience. Close your eyes. Imagine you're walking into your neighborhood store. You make your way to the back and reach for your favorite Snapple flavor. You can't wait. You take a sip. Whoa, that's a lot of flavor. What flavor are you holding? Now open your eyes and check out Snapple.com to find ridiculously flavorful Snapple near you.
Buenas noches, buenos dias, guten tag, willkommen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Andrew Rimby. This is an episode unlike any Ivory Tower Boiler Room episode that's ever been featured. Well, except like I was saying to Mary, who married a Pippi from True Crime and Academia is here.
Hello,
Um,
everyone.
she was talking with me before, and I said she's done True Crime and Academia news wrap-ups, like hot takes about the news in true crime. I've done the Fire Island discussion of my 30th birthday, but it's been a little while. Well, I did a blonde discussion with Elizabeth Winder with the blonde Netflix film. So I thought, Mary, we need to do a wrap-up every season because we are now ending the winter season. I know. Amazing content, though. Go through our catalog, see all the guests. I'm sure they'll come up during our discussion. But we're heading into the spring, and I think every season, if you all like this, Mary and I, and maybe we'll be joined by a guest eventually. We'll see. All of you who we've interviewed out there, if you are a pop culture, arts and culture fan, which I know you all are, but this is speaking to you, DM me. Because we're going to talk about the hottest TV, what we liked, what we didn't like, film, maybe music if it comes up. I was saying to Mary, I have a lot of Broadway episodes, and I'm talking with future guests about the Broadway season. So look for that. I'm going to go through the upcoming Broadway season and say what we're liking, what we're not, what we might want to miss. Again, no offense to the performers out there. As Mary and I have a background in musical theater, we love you all, but
We do.
sometimes the narrative doesn't speak to you. And that's why we're here, because you all come to me in my DMs. And what I love is you used Mary's True Crime and Academia, the Ivory Tower Boiler Room episodes for hot takes, for what to read, what to watch, what to consume. But you know what we don't usually ever do is peel back the layers and the behind the scenes of why we're choosing certain material, what I'm actually drawn to, what are our biases. So this is what this episode is for. And eventually we're going to leave you all on the podcast and we're going to head to Patreon because that's what our Patreon members pay for, this kind of material. So at the beginning, I'm going to let you know there's a point where Mary and I are going to say, okay, bye, everyone. We're heading to Patreon.
Sayonara.
It's going to be
Arrivederci.
it's going to be like an extra 40 minutes of content. So it's only $5 a month for all of our bonus episodes. And there's so much on the catalog. Okay. So Mary's checking in from her car, but has her microphone. I love the setup.
My amazing car. I also got my ring light on here. I mean,
amazing. Oh my God.
Let me just say, I am so in love with this car. This is probably the most favorite car I've had so far in all of the cars that I've owned.
Yeah, it's your podcast studio.
It is. It's my makeshift podcast studio when I need it to be.
With leather seats. Okay.
Yes.
So
leather
I'm drinking out of my Ivory Tower Boiler Room tumbler. So right away, I'm going to say to try to get into the Oscar season, I have green juice of the LA scene meets Philly style pretzel. So I'm like, okay, I got my sweet and salty. Okay. So right away, I want us to do what I'm going to call, are we going to watch it or skip it? So before we go through the Golden Globes winners, the Oscars, and Mary and I haven't seen everything. We're not going to say we've seen everything because I definitely haven't seen a lot of the Oscars, but we're going to give our analyses. And right away, we have to start with what's currently in the news, which is, I know I said watch or skip it, but it's an audiobook. Prince Harry's Spare. I started listening to the audiobook, Mary. Have you had a chance to hear any press from it? Like, what do you think is happening with Prince Harry?
I have not read the book yet, but I've watched his series, Harry and Meghan on Netflix, and I have been keeping up with the news with the royals. So, like, I kind of have an idea of what's going on and, like, I guess what were the more scandalous revelations of the book were and things like that. But I personally have not read it myself.
Okay, so I have listened to him read it. It's 11 hours, which is a long audiobook for a memoir autobiography. And I'll say this. I want to continue listening, so I'm not turned off from it. I feel deep sadness for what he psychologically went through because clearly there's a lot of build-up trauma from his experience. I still don't know who's in the right, who's in the wrong. I really think it's a gray area scenario where there's truth on each side and then you have to meet in the middle. I just believe that with any narrative. But yeah, he reveals things that he's like going all the way back to his boarding school years and like deep-seated childhood experiences with Princess Diana, his mom. I know some people were mocking his whole joking about how he lubricates his penis. And I was like, okay, but that's not the meat of, okay, right. I didn't mean to make that joke, but it's really not the meat of the book. I have to say, I do appreciate that he's put himself out there, but Meghan and Harry know exactly what they're doing for press. So I think they're really my hot take is they're really trying to figure out how to become LA celebrity type personalities.
I mean, I don't disagree with that. It's not something that I've never like entertained. Throughout this whole like Harry and Meghan saga thing, I've been looking at it from more of like a true crime angle, which is these people, Harry specifically, have left a cult.
Hi, this is Andrew. So, as some of you might know, I've been such a fan of the Gay and Lesbian Review, bi-monthly magazine of history, culture, and politics that publishes essays in a wide range of disciplines, as well as a slew of reviews of books, plays, and movies, and a number of special features, such as artist profiles and the popular Art Memo column, Did you know we actually had two of the writers on the Ivory Tower Boiler Room podcast, Ignacio Darnad and Vernon Rosario? So if you haven't, make sure you listen to those episodes. Each GNLR issue brings you consistently intelligent, lively, thought provoking articles focused on a unifying theme and brings together the leading minds on the topic. You won't find a lot about the latest dating fads or fashion trends, though you might find articles about online dating as a social phenomenon, like Grindr, which I have some experience with, or the gay influence on 20th century fashion. Now, for a special offer, when you subscribe to the GNLR, you'll receive a free copy with any print or digital subscription. That's 7 instead of 6. Visit glreview.org. That's glreview.org. Click subscribe and enter promo code ITBR for your free issue. And as an added bonus, you'll receive online access to all archived issues of the magazine. Enjoy your reading.
Look, Bumble knows you're exhausted by dating. All the must not take yourself too seriously and 6'1" since that matters. And what do I even say other than hey? Well, that's why they're introducing an all-new Bumble with exciting features to make compatibility easier, starting the chat better, and dating safer. They've changed, so you don't have to. Download the new Bumble now.
Oh, I like that take.
You know, to that extent, I would never want. I mean, obviously, they come from very privileged. Obviously, he's a royal. You know, you have all the bells and whistles that come with it. But when you learn about what is expected of the royal family, the way that they're expected to behave, the way that they're expected to just fall in line and do this, that, and the third, or fall on their own sword for someone else, that reads cult to me, because someone from the top is dictating how they're being perceived by either the media, by, their royal subjects, what have you.
And that's where I really, thanks for bringing that cult an idea up, because that's what I really respect from Spare, is that Harry knows he's getting, and Meghan, they're getting so much backlash from social media, the press in England, from America. I think that it reminds me of anytime you leave an established institution, whether it be academia, whether it be being a medical doctor, a lawyer, like anything that has a strict hierarchy of getting a certain degree, and then that's what you're expected to enter, and then you're breaking away like, no, I'm going to become an entrepreneurial spirit. I mean, you and I have felt that with our podcast personalities, and I felt that too. Again, I feel really supported by my academics community, but I'm not just betting on academia to create my job for me. I'm creating my own profile of digital media. Like, what can I do as a gay male academic? And that's where with Harry, I really sympathize and agree with him. Is it's wonderful that he has taken on exposing all aspects. And again, he's not trashing all of the royal hierarchy. He's just questioning. And I really feel we should question established norms.
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, he was born into a very strange situation. He was born knowing that he is what his book is titled, which is the spare, meaning he is the spare heir to the throne if something happens to William. And, with that mentality and just having that growing up, I mean, I remember in one of the documentaries of his, or maybe it was a revelation from one of the books, but he said around like age 4, he says something to his brother where he's like, well, you're the heir and I'm not, so it doesn't matter what I do, kind of a thing. And to know that you are not as important as someone else in your own family. And this is the thing I think people forget. This is their family dynamic. And from what I've seen, I mean, obviously I've watched The Crown, and, that's not historically or accurate or anything. but to some degree anyway. But, you can see just this whole, the family protects the family business before they protect its members. And it's not surprising that he and probably the other members, but I mean, let's face it, Harry's one of 2 kids, so it's not like there's a third in there that could also probably mirror or mimic what Harry is saying because they do have the same experiences. But, you see this, and it's interesting that because Harry and Meghan were so well liked by other people, the more negative press coming from England was going against them. And you see the same with Diana. That was a similar situation. When people started liking her more than Charles, the media turned on her. And I say the media because we all know that Buckingham Palace is
feeding the stories to the media. They have a relationship. The court, the royal family, and the media are hand in hand, just like how certain American organizations are hand in hand with certain media establishments, which, we can get to when we get to the Oscars and when we get to, why certain people make the Oscars list and others, because, hey, everyone out there who's listening, did you know that you have to campaign for an Oscar nomination? Like, you literally have to put money into running for an Oscar nomination.
Which is crazy.
This isn't dictated by the
talent
actors. Yeah. That's a different set, which I really respect, which is the SAG-AFTRA Awards, which is voted on by your peers. So we'll talk about I feel like our theme now basically is hierarchies.
Yeah.
Because this is where I think we're going to leave everyone who's listening for free. Sorry, you got a lot though.
Sorry, you're missing my hot take.
Yeah, you got our Prince Harry discussion. Become a member, patreon.com/Ivory Tower Boiler Room. We're going to see you all there because up next is someone else who left expectations that were unfairly placed on her that I feel, which is Pamela Anderson and Hollywood. So we're going to head to Patreon to talk about Pamela Anderson.
Buy us a coffee.
See you all there. Yes, buy us a coffee.
Share
$5.
the one coffee.
Yeah, Mary and I will split the $2.50 each for us. Okay. See you all there.
Your brain needs support, and new Ollie Brainy Chews are a delightful way to take care of your cognitive health. Made with scientifically backed ingredients like Thai ginger, L-theanine, and caffeine, Brainy Chews support healthy brain function and help you find your focus, stay chill, or get energized. Be kind to your mind and get these nootropic chews at ollie.com. That's OLLY.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hi, this is Andrew, and I'm interrupting what I know is an enthralling interview because I want you all to know that we are sponsored by Broadview Press. And if you don't know, Broadview Press is an independent academic publisher who publishes books covering topics like English studies, writing, philosophy, history, gender studies. And every season on the podcast, I interview one of the Broadview Press authors. So for the fall, we had Ann Stevens on to talk about literary theory and criticism. She played a Wizard of Oz literary game with us. She talked about why Bridgerton actually involves literary theory. So does 50 Shades of Grey. Who knew? And also, we just had on Jeffrey Weinstock, who wrote the first ever pop culture analysis book. So, I am all things a lover of pop culture, especially my Hollywood topics, Real Housewives, the list goes on. And he also wrote the book called The Mad Scientist's Guide to Composition, where he's writing a book teaching students about how to write rhetorical strategies, but it's all around this metaphor of being in the mad scientist laboratory, because as you'll learn when you hear our episode with Jeffrey, he is a gothic and horror fanatic. And I mean that in all the best ways possible. So you don't want to miss Broadview Press's exclusive discount because you're listening to the podcast, all of you get an automatic 20% off. Use the code Ivory Tower for 20% off site-wide on all of their books. So in our show notes, we have a link to Broadview Press. Make sure you click the link, put in Ivory Tower, and you're going to get 20% off your order. So enjoy your reading, everyone.